Hi, Diane. How you doing? All right, let's go and take a look. Okay, these are outstanding, really outstanding. You're showing wonderful proficiency here in both contrast and emphasis, which of course go hand in hand, right? And all lead to what? Good hierarchy. So I think this is really, really an excellent job. You've been paying attention, and it definitely shows in this work. Let's go ahead and go through each one individually. Honestly, I think this one, it's got really good contrast, but I think this one might be the weak link in the three. And the reason is because it's kind of lacking a little bit in harmony. We've got too many different elements going on. Okay, so for example, we've got horizontal rules, we got vertical rules, we have different colored rules, and then we have this really, really unique type treatment here that is really not very similar to anything else on the page. So I think we could improve the harmony in this specific piece, but nonetheless, the contrast is excellent and the hierarchy is excellent. There's no question where you want the viewer to look first, second, and subsequently following a good order of hierarchy. Okay, so we have got the Rooney Rooster has definitely got great contrast here in comparison to General Store and the contact information. And there's no question that these three elements here are related because of the proximity, but they're also different based on the contrast of the three different type treatments. So this is outstanding. To increase harmony, I think we would remove a couple of things. We'd probably remove that red background and just incorporate the type right into the composition as opposed to putting it in a color background, which kind of makes it appear as though it's pasted over the composition as opposed to incorporated within the composition. Hope that makes sense. If not, let me know. I'll be glad to clarify that. But the last two are excellent. I think this is outstanding contrast, outstanding emphasis. Snowflake decor services for all your holiday and decorating needs. This is great because there's a relationship between these two, but they're different based on the contrast. So this is excellent. Then over here, we've got yet another contrast and yet a fourth contrast introducing two new subject matters to the composition, clearly indicating that they're somewhat related, but they are different. Somewhat related that they're in the same composition, and somewhat different in the proximity that these are grouped together, meaning this information is different than this information, right? And then this has to do with direct contact, where this has to do with the website. So that's good separation right there too. I think this is excellent work. I got the little watermark in the background. That's good stuff. Good job. Great job here. Good consistency in your color too. So this not only has excellent contrast and emphasis, but it also has excellent harmony as well. And then this piece, I think that this piece is excellent as well. But there's one thing here that is kind of drawing the eye away from the main area of information. So you got this wonderful left margin right here, which allows the flow to go right through the page like this, right? One thing I would recommend here is, in terms of hierarchy, I think Troy's Trout is probably a little bit more important than Guided Fishing Trips, but Guided Fishing Trips is visually heavier than Troy's Trout. So what I would recommend is taking Troy's Trout, placing it above Guided Fishing Trips, placing Guided Fishing Trips below, and reduce the size of that to reduce the emphasis on that. So we have Troy's Trout, Guided Fishing Trips, right? And then you have Serving the Northern Minnesota Area. That's fantastic right there. And then you've got the telephone number, but you've also got an additional contact information, which is pushed over to the right side of the composition. And that kind of reduces, it's great contrast, but again, in terms of grouping and proximity, it seems to the viewer there's too many eye movements. So we go down the line here, then we have to jump over here. This is contact information. This is contact information. So it would make sense to group those together. My recommendation here is to take Troy's Trout, move it underneath the phone number. Actually, move the phone number up a little bit. You don't want to encroach on that margin right there. And then take Troy's Trout out of the green and place it underneath. Maybe just place that in green type, place it underneath the telephone number. That way you'll have really three really clearly definitive steps in hierarchy. First position, second position, third position. First position would be the title and the subhead, then Serving Northern Minnesota, and then the contact information. Reducing the size here is going to reduce this fact that this type here is encroaching on the logo. It's going to allow the logo to have a little bit more emphasis itself, based on the fact that it is alone over here without other elements encroaching on it. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's going to add further emphasis to the logo itself. All right, other than that, I think you've done a really fantastic job. So you're definitely paying attention. Keep up the great work. If there's anything I've covered in this video that's not making sense to you, please don't hesitate to get a hold of me. I'll be glad to make any necessary clarifications. Great job. Thank you very much for sharing.